Right, hi everyone. In this, I'm just going through some photos I took with the Nikon d800 camera in part of my longer full-term review with buying a d800 as a second-hand camera and where I think it's good, where it's flaws and all that kind of stuff. So today it was an incredibly cold day, but we went down to, in Edinburgh, there's a big bridge. In fact, there's two big bridges. One's a rail bridge, one's a road bridge, and they're now building a second road bridge. So it's three giant bridges that go over the Firth of Forth, which is this river outside of Edinburgh. And I was shooting with the Tamron 24 to 70mm during this. And I think pretty much all of these, I shot these in the full 36 million pixel image capture here. And so just kind of looking at some of the shots, and it actually just blows my mind just how much detail are in these shots. I think that's me going. That should be me going 1:1. Yeah, so I'm going from fit to 1:1, and we can see the tips of the colors of the tips of that seagull flying past. Let's bring out some other details. Let's go info. So f8, that should have been pretty damn sharp all the way through for that lens at 1/250th of a second going on. You've always got to wait is, with this camera, you've got to wait for a little bit of processing whenever you're going zooming all the way in. So with this shot, you can see, if you look up at the histogram, it's pretty much a fairly blanket kind of image. Well, it doesn't seem to be that there's any black. So even though I've got this screen on full brightness, to me, that looks like that's totally black, but in the raw file, they're saying, no, there's still information to be had here. So a lot of times people say, if you want to like get a better exposure for your image, highlight both your darks and your brights. So you should have a white and you should have a black in an image, which is bullshit. But let's just see how far we can push the actual original image. See, whenever you're pushing it up, it's pushing it up, and the whites are getting whiter, but none of them are becoming clipped until you have to really go a long way, up to 2. So that's the power that you get with shooting ISO 100 here, is that the image quality is so good that you can push it up by 2.6 EVs up before you're losing image there. Because like then if I were to bring highlights down, we've still got detail in the brights here. So that's pretty shocking going on there. White balance here, it looks quite blue. It was quite blue. It was a dull day, but how much can we bring in the shadows? I'd always, something I like to do is split toning in the shadows, give them a little bit of warmth, because generally shadows are a bluer area. And here we can just give it a little bit of extra warmth, which brings in a little bit of color here going on. Clarity up a touch, and we have I haven't put any profile or anything. Let's give it some sharpening. Not adding any noise reduction or anything to that. So let's see. That's damn good. And you've got to remember, I'm looking at this on a 27-inch iMac screen. If you are watching this on an iPod, you're not going to notice the surprising abilities of this camera. So there, yeah, you keep on forgetting that you were that close in, and that's how wide an image it was. So yeah, stonking. And what we're saying also with this, it's not just a case of, oh, now it's almost blown out the blues. What you can do is then in the luminance go, look, we just want to bring the blues back down or highlight the saturates. So that's where Lightroom playing around is kind of pretty beneficial with the latitude or the dynamic range that you get in the raw files. So yeah, having a little look at there. Let's see if we can go to anywhere a bit more interesting. Oh yeah, no, I was wanting to. This is a bit over the other side of the Forth called Rosyth, where they've got the biggest crane in Europe, aircraft carrier. Seems a little bit blurry. What you're really actually, it's not too bad. We've got to remember this is 1:1. The fact that I can read that, and that's what it is. Again, on a 27-inch full screen, going 1:1, going aircraft, and that's not with any. Let's take out the tiny bits of blown out whites, bring the highlights down a touch, let's add some sharpening. Oh, it's so good, so good. And yeah, so one of the things I was saying about this is that you have the opportunity to do so much cropping. Oh, I didn't even see that. Look at that giant boat at the side. That is a giant aircraft carrier that they're building over there. Yeah, if you are a spy or a terrorist, the Nikon D800 camera, I would recommend this one to all terrorists. I am probably going to get that flagged on YouTube. I shouldn't have said that. But the fact is, I didn't even see that when taking the photo. All I saw was the crane. But now I can zoom in and inspect with detail the number of portholes there are at the side of this ship. That's astonishing. That's astonishing. Yeah, so what was that from the original actual photo? It's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing when shooting with this. Right, let's carry on with some other shots. The autofocus on this, it hasn't focused where I've always wanted it to. So here I was taking a portrait of Logan, and it focused on the nearest part. Bummer. I was having it on all area focuses, dots, and it's just let it automatically choose its own kind of one. And it didn't somehow know that that was Logan right there, and it focused on the wrong point. So big fail by Nikon there. Oh, again, it's surprising. So I brought the highlights down, vibrance up, clarity up, just to give it a little bit more punch. What if I were to do anything? It would be I would bring in a little bit of desaturation, so bring up the water, but also just saturation down a touch, or bring up the temperature a little bit, just so it's not as blue as what it actually is. But that is stonking. If we bring the saturation of the blues down, it does it of the sky as well, which kind of ruins the shot. But that's pretty good. So again, high frequency detail image here, and you're getting down to almost being able to see the rivets that are being used on this bridge. And something which you just normally can't see, I can count the number of people on that boat. If I bring the exposure up, I can go, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on that boat. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And so much ability to push the image exposure up the way. Again, this is all at its optimal ISO settings. This is ISO 100. But just pretty damn good. If you are a landscape photographer of some sort, this is the bomb. Now, one thing I did think is I thought it was underexposing. On the LCD screen on the back, when I was looking at this, I was going, oh, that's not as bright as I want it. On my screen here, though, it's looking more accurate. So again, this is a lot of the case of don't delete photos just because they don't look exactly how you want them on the LCD screen of the camera. The white balance and everything I thought was absolutely fine. I can actually see there's a little man in there, but that's at the edge of the image, so the sharpness isn't so great. Yeah, I got it when there's a train going over on the bridge there. And so it looks like this, although it's stationary, 160th of a second image isn't quite as sharp as what I would like it to be. Okay, so now after playing around with this image and just messing around with colours and all that kind of stuff, this seems to be a little bit more what I wanted. Okay, and after playing around with it too much, I've really caused a little bit of chromatic aberration going on in the image by enhancing the sharpness. But that's still pretty damn good. I'm liking that a lot, and I think maybe I'd want to. This is something which may actually benefit from a vignette of a little bit there. Lens vignetting going on. And again, oh, what would this be like in black and white? Hold on, let's see. Let's bring the blues down. Oh, liking that a lot. So yeah, big fan of that at the moment. So again, what this is really affording the enthusiast photographer is so much chance of actually playing with the images afterwards. Kim's going to kill me for this one, but let's have a little look at a 1:1. Oh, look, that's what we call a shallow depth of field, where her eyelashes and eyebrows are in focus, the actual eyeball is out of focus. That's what we call a shallow depth of field, and that's at f4, 70th of a second. core. Color-wise and facial, like face color rendition, I would consider that to be quite good. That was quite warm. Bring it down a little bit, maybe add a little bit of contrast. Bring the blacks down a touch. For the portrait photographers, you need to make sure that your lens is spot on accurate. This isn't a run and gun photo camera, that's for sure. So here's another shot, which I thought was kind of interesting because here we can see the main bridge, the fourth rail bridge. Look at it all. We're on the dark side of it. And then through the big bits, we can actually see the bridges next door. Now, they are definitely out of focus. Let's see what I can do with the defringing, lens, chromatic aberration sorting. Really like it. Really like what it's able to do here. Okay, this shot here, again, the area that I'd want to kind of bring a little bit of both warmth and exposure to would be the foreground here, which is just this pretty manky little bit of sandy area here. But we just bring the shadows up, saturation, maybe a little bit of clarity up as well. That gives that a little bit of punch. And then let's see for the skies here, bring the highlights down. Don't bring them down too much, but what we might do is I'll bring the that shadows, not bothered, saturation up, exposure down just a touch, highlights down a touch, and we'll just paint in the sky here. Let's see. So the sun's hitting the big pillars here, and they seem almost like they're totally blown out, but they're not. They're like everything is fully still within the image. What's considered to be acceptable. Let's do a crop. We want to see from all the way from the beach all the way out to that island away out in the corner. So that looks pretty cool there. So this is a nice big panoramic, which also needs a little bit of straightening. And there, that is a nice computer screen image. And even if we are looking at that, that is still 7,321 pixel horizontal and 3,000 pixels vertical as well. So that means that's still 21 million pixels worth of image there. Nice. Now, one thing I did notice at the end is that I tried to take some quick shots in Aperture Priority of my little one, and it totally overexposed, which I totally understand because I was in evaluative metering, so that it would meter everything in the area. So he's got a black coat on, with a dark hat on, and all that stuff. It's a dark image, so it exposes to get at what it would think would be right. But still, even in the histogram, you see, whoa, that's totally overexposed. However, let's see if how much. So that's ISO 400. How much are we able to rescue in terms of his little face? I would say we can rescue quite a lot there. Bringing it down by 2 stops, highlights down. Don't want to bring it down too much, makes it look like a zombie. But yeah, so even if it's 2 stops overexposed there, I am pretty darn happy if we see what that was like before and after. That's a good recovery. I then did it on spot metering, and the shot came out pretty much exactly how I would want it. Let's see, spot metering there. So the spot metered off his face, and as you can see, the histogram is far more how I would like it. But if we were to compare the two of them together, the one which I've edited down, 2 stops down, meanwhile what I would consider to be the correct color, the correct exposure, you get much better color rendition in the faces going on there. But yeah, I'm very impressed with how well it's done, and if you've got a lot of time to work and play around with your images, this is a fantastic camera to do that with. Absolutely brilliant. Cool, so that was my experience with it today. I hope that helps. Cheers, bye-bye. One last thing is that if you are on my photography channel, you may not know that I've got 2 other channels. One is my exercise channel, which you can check out, which is Don Bauer Exercise. I think the actual name is just youtube.com/Don Bauer. And I've also got another one on this channel, I've got Dom's Talks, and a lot of that is going to be about, well, me dealing with my first ever newborn baby, little Logan Bauer, born on the 4th of September, and so I'm learning to be a dad. So it's all my mistakes and all the things which I'm learning which are quite useful. So if you want to see more about little Logan and how he's getting on, check out Dom's Talks. And if you want to see, I've also got Dom's Flights as well. So again, I'm doing a lot of stuff flying my DJI Phantom around the places, and also going through the process of getting the license to do it commercially. So if you want to see how I'm doing that, check out the Dom's Flights channel as well, which I put all the links to down below. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.